Thank you, George and Josh, there in studio. Of course, we're still here at the National Assembly, touching ground on what exactly is happening as we wait for 3 p.m. when the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, comes and reads the budget. But we already know that it's going to be about 4 trillion shillings. Here I have with me Edward Murio, who is the Member of Parliament, Gatanga, and Newton Kamasi, who is a governance expert. I'll start with you, Edward. Maybe, what are your thoughts on this particular budget? 4 trillion shillings, are we punching above our weight?
Thank you. My name is Japheth Nyakundi, Member of Parliament for Kitutu Chache North, and also the National Treasurer for the UDA party. Yeah, the budget, we are waiting for Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, who will come at about 3 p.m. to read the budget, a budget of about 4.013 trillion. Compared to the budget policy statement that we initially passed of about 4.18 trillion. So we have come down of the budget for about 174 billion Kenya shillings from what we passed from the budget policy statement. And this is because we want as a country to live within our means. Because if you are not able to live within your means, then that means you'll be shooting your budget up. But we decided to go down by about 174 billion Kenya shillings, and the budget physicals, the deficit has gone down from last year by about 509 billion compared to last year, which was about 800 and something billion Kenya shillings. Right, the deficit is about 600 billion shillings. Yes. And of course that is already a very high number, especially considering that we're trying to manage our debt. I'll come to you, Newton. Do you believe that 600 billion is a manageable number? Is this something that we can manage as a country? 600 billion is not a mean figure. Right. But as a country, I recall that the government of the day is really pushing to face the economic realities that we have, and also to balance it with the principles of fairness. Because as you look at it, we are really in a space of economic recovery, and the president, I believe, with the Kenya Kwanza government, have really focused on building an economy, making it recover from the harsh realities that we had from COVID. And I believe the 600 billion, the deficit will be probably reduced in the next few years, because he has almost 2-3 years to go. And I believe with his strategy and the policy statement that he's giving the country, I believe that is going to ensure that we face the reality, but also he brings in innovative ideas on how to make sure that that deficit is reduced. So I believe we are in a good track as a country. Of course. Mheshimiwa, maybe if we could just touch on food security. There have been the floods. Do you believe, when we are going to be looking at the allocation for different state departments, that this particular menace is going to be catered for? Thank you once more. On the food security, you remember when President William Ruto came in, he said he's going to subsidize production and not subsidizing consumption. And that is the reason you see today the price of food has really gone down compared to last year. Last year around March, the price of unga was about 230 shillings. Right now the price of unga is between 100, 130. The price of cooking oil, 3-liter cooking oil, was 2,000 shillings. Right now the price of cooking oil is about 1,100, between 900 to 1,100. The price of fuel, same to the dollar. It is because of the policies that he has put in place and subsidizing fertilizer. And we thank God we also got a lot of rain. The price of fertilizer was 7,500. Currently the price of fertilizer is 2,500. He has also tried to reduce the price of seeds that farmers are using to go to the farm. So all these factors of the output, agricultural output, farm inputs, he has tried to reduce them so that farmers can be able to go to the farms, and hence has reduced the cost of production, has reduced the cost of unga, the cost of food commodities. And we believe we are doing more. We are doing more as a country, and we are doing more as a Kenya Kwanza government to make sure that people are able, even right now, to to plant sunflower so that we can be able to produce our own cooking oil, which will also reduce the amount of cooking oil that we import per year in the country.
Right, thank you so much for that. Newton, I have to come to you as our expert here. Do you believe that we have subsidized production, having in mind, you know, the proposed finance bill? A lot of manufacturers have been lamenting on, you know, the payment of raw materials and the levy that is going to come into that. Do you believe that we have subsidized production?
I want to believe the government of the day has tried, not really achieved that subsidization process, but the most important thing is, are we trying as a country? Right. Because that is the most important question you need to ask yourselves. And also, you can relate that the manufacturers in the country, most of them are happy with some of the policies that the government is passing. But some who are pretending to be manufacturers are the ones having issues.
Right.
And actually, as a country, we need to really differentiate these two, so that as a country we can be able to support policies and programs that are supposed to focus on improving the subsidizing costs of production.
Right.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa, let's talk about some of the allocations that have been given, especially when it comes to devolved units. We are seeing that health, of course, has been a menace, considering that a lot of clinical officers and even doctors have been on the streets. Do you believe that this budget is going to be, well, at least it's going to be easier for them?
Thank you. I believe the budget that we've passed is going to cater for the issues to do with health. More especially, this is the first time we have passed a precedented figure that goes to the county governments of 400.01 billion Kenya shilling that goes to the county. This will go a long way in paying the community health promoters, will go a long way in getting medicines to the county government, will go a long way in building new level 1, level 2, level 3 hospitals. And also in the national government, we have allocated about 130 billion. These 130 billion will go to most of these referral hospitals that we have. Kenyatta Referral Hospital, we have Moi Eden Teaching Referral Hospital, we have Jaramogi Oginga Referral Hospital. These will go a long way in making sure that they are able to buy more equipment that are going to serve our people, that are going to be used to our people, to treat our people. So I believe that this money will go a long way in also enhancing that our doctors are able to get a decent pay according to their wage bill, or according to what they are supposed to get as doctors.
Mheshimiwa, I think you'll agree with me that allocation and disbursement are two very different things. And a lot of MPs, a lot of leaders have been complaining that yes, the allocation is there, but the disbursement is not there. And this usually leads to a lot of debt for county governments, for even constituencies. What are your thoughts on that?
The issue of exchequer disbursement has become a menace in this country. It has become a very big issue in this country. And for sure, as you've said, budgeting is one thing, and exchequer releases are another thing. What we'll call upon the CS for Treasury and the PS Kitutu is to make sure that they release this money on time. And this is the reason you also see that most of the projects that are supposed to be done are not done because of the release of exchequer. But if they release this exchequer early enough, most of these projects can be able to be done, and things will move as fast as possible, because we are moving closer to another election. If we don't work right now, Kenyans will ask us after 5 years, what did you do as Kenya Kwanza government? So we request them to make sure that they release the exchequers in time, so that our people can be able to benefit from the budget that we are able to pass.
All right, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. As we wind up, Newton, maybe, what are some of the highlights that you're looking forward to? What do you expect?
What I'm looking forward to as a Kenyan citizen is to look that, one, as the budget is being read today, the House is going to really look into those issues that have been put in those budgets, so that as they debate, as they vote for these policies, let them vote putting in mind the economic challenges that we have, and also the principles of fairness. Because there are instances where they need to understand that as Kenyans, we have really been going through a struggle process and recovering economically. Therefore, as they debate, there are some pain points in the budget, and I believe that Mheshimiwa and the rest, they are going to discuss them in totality and with a view of enabling the economy to grow.
Right.
Because as a country, what we are looking at growth as an economy. And also, as we look at growth, we need to understand the situation we are in.
Right.
Kenyans are not happy with some things, and therefore, I call on them, as they debate, they will also consider the fact of corruption.
Right.
Because corruption has been very key in this, in the impediment of implementation of these budgets.
Right.
Therefore, the fact that Kenyans have the mindset that we prepare budgets, we budget for corruption.
Right.
That should be something that should come out very clearly in this particular budget of this year, so that we have a nation that budgets for development and for the economic growth of a country, not for corruption.
Right, and
Yes.
that's very important to consider, and I'm sure that's going to be leading the conversation back there in studio as we continue to touch base and see what's happening, and we wait for 3 p.m. But for now, we give it back to you, George and Josh.
Thank you so much, Hibaq Said, who is at Parliament buildings as they wait the arrival of the Cabinet Secretary Treasury to be able to officially begin the afternoon session, where the CS will be presenting the policy document to the National Assembly. It is a tradition that has been observed by Treasury Cabinet Secretaries and before them the Ministers for Finance. We did see what happened at the Treasury building, where the briefcase was